So where's Naru right now? Because she's not in our field. Now, if you follow me on other social medias, you've probably seen this photo of her at the bowling facility because that's where she currently is. She is 323 days pregnant as of today. I took her in 2 days ago to drop her off. It was kind of a chaotic, crazy day. I had to work for a little bit, and then my husband had to go to a doctor's appointment, so I had to hook up the trailer and get her loaded and all that by myself, which, not a problem. I can easily do that. But it was pretty much like, since it's just me, I'm not taking videos of here's what I'm doing now. I was just like, nope, gotta sign off work at the very last second, go hook up the trailer real quick, and even then probably was like a few minutes later than what I intended to be, but it was totally fine. So Naru, because she is 323 days pregnant, that means she has passed her 320-day safe date. So basically, she can foal anytime now and shouldn't be an issue, at least for being like considered premature. She was starting to bag up a decent amount, so I feel like she might go a little early. As a maiden, though, who knows? So I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, who she's been bred to and kind of what our goals are for this foal. So Naru is very much a reining bred horse. So first, this is Dynamic Breeze. This is the sire of Naru's baby. Dynamic Breeze I picked partly for the fact that he's thrown a lot of babies that have been very correct in their conformation. They've also been very easy to train, it seems like, and a lot of them seem to have a really good attitude. And it didn't hurt that when we lived in Florida, he was standing like 5 miles from where we lived. So I got to go meet him in person. He was sweet as could be. So I was just like so in love with this horse that I was like, I'm selecting him. Now, it doesn't hurt that I'm a big fan of Gruya's, and he is homozygous black and dun. Therefore, based on their genetic makeup, we would have a chance of either a bay dun, a dunskin, a Gruya, or a smoky Gruya. Now, just to clarify, a smoky Gruya looks just like a regular Gruya. They just have a copy of the cream gene, but it's not expressed because the agouti gene kind of overrides it. So, and let me explain that a little bit. So, agouti is what causes the black pigment to be distributed. If it is evenly distributed throughout the entire body, like it is on a black, actual true black horse or a Gruya in this case, they're often called black duns because they are essentially a black horse. They have at least one copy of that capital E of the black base gene. So like E is essentially whether or not they're going to be red, like sorrel, chestnut. So lowercase e is when you have a chestnut sorrel that is a red-based horse. Capital E or a capital E and a lowercase e, so basically two capitals or one capital, one lowercase, is going to be black-based. So that's going to be an actual black horse. This is going to be an actual a bay, and then anything that gets added onto that. So like buckskins are a copy of the cream gene, makes them a buckskin as a bay with the cream gene. Now, because agouti is what causes the black pigment to distribute throughout the body, so two lowercase a's means that they will have black pigment evenly distributed throughout their entire body. If they have even one copy of that capital A, that means that the black is restricted to the points. So that's where you see like bays are kind of like brown, but then they have black on their legs and their tail, and now I have an akasha. Talk about black, we have a black cat here. Do you have agouti? Anyway, I actually have no idea. I don't know cat genetic stuff like that, but it looks interesting from what little I've seen. Anyway, so with Naru, basically, if you basically to have a black dun, which is a Gruya, you need two lowercase a's. So the thing with that is if you look at Gruyas, they kind of look like they have the black restricted to the points, but that is because of the dun gene. The dun gene is what causes that. So it's all very interesting, and I'll try to do like more in-depth deep thought dive later when my cats are not attacking me. But just to also talk a little bit about my goals with Naru. So as I mentioned, Naru is heavily reining bred. If you know anything about reining horses, you probably know quite a few of the names on here, such as Wimpy's Little Step, Topsail Whiz, Barrett Enterprise. Those are all some real famous names. And further back, there's other famous horses in there as well. I mean, obviously, Hollywood Dunnett is one of my all-time favorite reining horses. And I actually bought her without even looking at her papers. And then I saw the Hollywood Dunnett on there, and I was like, oh, my favorite Breyer is now my horse. Well, obviously descended from my favorite Breyer. Anyway, so I did not breed her to a reining horse, though. Beezer is not a reining horse, but he's a very good all-around horse, and I feel like sometimes we get too much like line breeding, aka inbreeding, and I think that it's good to kind of just mix in some new genetics. So I decided to breed her to more of an all-around horse that will still be in my next reining prospect, and I want to do a lot of like ranch trail classes, stuff like that with this baby that's coming up. So and just a quick touch on like health genetics. Naru is totally in the clear. So she is NN all across the board, which means she doesn't carry any of these genetic diseases. So because she is descended from Wimpy's Little Step, that was a little bit of a concern because he was homozygous for myosin heavy chain myopathy. Thankfully, she does not carry that gene. And then even though it seems like this is more linked to like the Plague-On line, but I still wanted to go ahead and do it once this test came out. So the equine juvenile spinocerebellum ataxia test was done because a lot of foals were basically like fine at birth and then just gradually like lost like the ability to walk and everything. They ended up linking it to this gene. So even if she had one copy though, if the stallion was fine, she'd be fine. Now, I don't believe at the time that we bred her, they had ordered that test yet. I don't know if they actually even have now. Because again, I don't think he comes from any of the lines that have been known to have a problem. But I felt better going ahead and having the test done because I was like, what's it, like $40 or something like that, just from a little peace of mind. So I went ahead and had that. And even things like lethal white overo, odds are she wasn't going to have lethal white overo because even though she's not an overo, they can have it. And again, for the extra like $25, that peace of mind, very worth it. So yeah, it's a little bit about Naru, her baby, and I can't wait to show you that baby when it's born. So I'll keep y'all posted.